Mute yourself when you're not talking.
Oh, I thought I already had.
Oh, there
It's
we go.
better.
Nice.
Hey Thea, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good this
Hello,
morning.
Thea.
Happy
Hello.
late Thanksgiving. Earlier in the call I said happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and then everybody's not American, so
We can still celebrate.
yeah.
Welcome to my table.
Yeah.
You know what I heard? Quick fun fact. The reason we eat turkeys for Thanksgiving is because, and turkeys aren't, a lot of people don't think turkey's actually that good. Like me personally, I don't think I like chicken a lot better. It's literally just because the size of the bird is big enough to feed a bigger table. I don't know if this is true, but it seems pretty reasonable, you know.
Yeah.
Bigger bird, more people. It's just that simple. It's like why that's why turkey. It's not like anything special. Just anyway. All right, so onwards.
Okay, so I will share my screen. And today's lesson is pretty short. It's more of like a show instead of a tell. So I'm gonna share a little bit about like what I'm doing in the editing process. So when you guys are writing something, usually what I would do is I wouldn't really edit a whole lot while I'm writing because that kind of interrupts my flow. I just kind of write and kind of accept that the first draft will be kind of poopy. And then the magic kind of happens in the second, third, fourth editing pass. So I'm going to kind of show you guys a little bit what we do in the second, third, fourth editing pass that kind of cleans it all up, right? So the main things I'm looking for are cutting out the fluff, okay? Having powerful verbs, and I'm looking at the verb tenses, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And I'm looking to just have powerful language, okay? So this is one of the sentence structure is kind of one of the things that Dan Ferrari, when he taught the both of us, really harped on. And he'd point out if your sentences were crappy, if they were too long, if they were mumbly. So I'm going to do a live demonstration of that if unless Austin has something else he wants to include on John's emails right here. Not because they're good or bad, just because they're the first thing that we had.
Well, we'll dive into the editing line by line and stuff, but I think it's important to say, like, I know we've said it before, but it's worth reiterating, is that you should just let your fingers flow on that first draft. And it's a skill getting out of your own head and letting yourself write pure dog shit. But it's something you should practice. And I mean, it's not a good session if after my first draft, I don't hate it. So like, just, you know, some people's first drafts are better than others. I'm sure some people actually like what they write. But for me personally, it's like, all right, that's fine. Just be okay with it. And then second, third, fourth pass is like Ning said, where the magic happens. So yeah, go ahead, Ning. Oh, go. What's that, Tom?
I was saying, but when you're sort of doing this like flow session, you still have at least a plan of what you wanted to write.
Yeah,
you still
have some kind of structure. I'll at least, even down to emails, I like to have even maybe like a 4-point outline where I'm trying to bridge from one point to the next. You will get probably to a certain level at some point where you might be able to store that in your head. And but me personally, I kind of need an outline for everything. The project I was working on this week, I would have been screwed without an outline. So yeah, I think, yeah, at least you need to know where you're going and what your goal is. But once you have that, just let yourself write and don't overthink that part of the process.
I can't emphasize the whole logics like backbone exercise that we did from last week or 2 weeks ago. That's something you guys should be doing on every copy piece. You write the logic structure out of your copy piece, and then go and fill that out. Otherwise, it's just going to wander.
Yeah, like what do they need to know? What do they already know? And then trying to predict what those objections are in order of how they're raised in the prospect's mind.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's take a look at so that's kind of like a bigger overview thing. Like if I'm editing, I'm gonna do a pass for like logic structure, right? Is there any other way I can like like any other way I can structure the logic? Can I move this section up? Can I move this section down? And what I'm looking to do there is I'm trying to make the copy slipperier.
Slipperier.
Make the copy slipperier. Okay,
Do
what
you
that means
use
is like
WD-40 baby lotion? What kind of lubricant?
yeah, like copy should be a slippery slope. They should start slipping and then they should just slip all the way through. You know. Okay. Logic structure and then sentence grammar structure. Okay. Maybe like can I make it more emotional, powerful? Okay. Those are the kind of things I'm looking to do in my editing. And today we're just kind of focusing on this sentence grammar structure. Okay. We've kind of gone through this already, the logic structure. We've gone through it a lot because that's basically when we've edited your guys' stuff, it's the main thing we're working on. Move this up, move this down. Okay. So let's take a look at what we mean by sentence grammar structure. Okay. So I brought up John's neck pain emails. And we're going to look at just a couple sentences that kind of stand out for me. Okay. So for the most part, John's sentence structure is actually really good. So one thing I'm going to note is that when I edit like a student's structure, I look a lot at verbs, verb tenses mostly. Like so, for the most part, the most powerful verb tenses are present, past, and future. Okay. The tenses that people use a lot are like ing, like, and passive. Okay. Okay. So passive, does everyone know the difference between active and passive voice? Mostly. Does anyone want me to go over it just in case?
Might be worth going over.
Might be worth going over. Okay, so she was hit by the bus. Is that active or passive?
Passive.
Okay, so that's a passive voice. That's great. Okay, so that's passive. Active is the bus hit her. Okay.
Struck her down.
Okay. Hit is like, you know, if we're actually editing copy, you know, slammed into her, you know, or something like that, you know. So active is this thing did verbed another thing, whereas passive is this thing was verbed by this thing. Does that sort of make sense? The thing that does the verb comes first, and then you have an active verb instead of was blah blah blah. Was verbed.
Yeah, I mean this I hate to like bring up the one exception, but like if you're kind of the victim of the verb, like the passive, there's like that's like the one exception is like if something happened to you or like you can use the passive. So I'm trying to think. Because like she was hit by the bus is actually not terrible.
There's exceptions to all of this.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like making sure. I'm just kind of pointing it out so that people are kind of aware of it. Okay?
Right.
So like things that kind of stand out to me. This email is like really good. I don't really see any things that really like pop out at me. The only thing that like could be changed is like, see this phrase right here? This quick fix activates 3 key areas of your neck to banish pain at the root level. It's a good sentence. Providing immediate and lasting relief. This verb tense is the only tense that stands out like the ing providing. You could use which provides immediate and lasting relief, but
Yeah.
I honestly think those two are probably kind of equal in power. Like I don't even know if like which provides.
I'll add that a good editing pass trick to do when you're done with the draft is to just control find for has, have, and had. Like the start of this sentence right here has just released this new breakthrough called the 9 o'clock neck curl. So you lead in like the person who's releasing is Canada's #1 pain specialist. So you could just say, you know, just released instead of has.
Yeah. So
typically those are like your no words, like has, have, had.
Was you know, was doing instead of just doing. Really
Right.
depends on, you know, what it is. But like, yeah, that's a good point. Awesome.
And if you use Hemingway, the free app, it will, I'm pretty sure it'll pick out your passive verbs for you. So I think most of you guys are familiar with that, but I'll post that in the Slack just in case.
Okay. Any questions on what we're kind of talking about so far? No. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look at this this email right here. Staring at phones in traffic. Did you know that 90% of Americans are addicted to staring at their phone screens when stuck in traffic? Okay. When stuck in traffic is a describing phrase. It's a prepositional phrase type thing. I don't know if that's a technical word for it, if I just made that up, but it's a phrase that describes the situation. 99% of them didn't. Yeah, that's fine. The most dangerous thing about it isn't crashing their cars. It's the severe damage to their neck that happens every time they crane. So this noun, like, you want to pluralize this just to match. This is a small detail. Single crane their necks down to look at their phone screen. Yep. In fact, research shows that every time you look down at your phone, you're putting a whopping 60 pounds of severe pain causing force on your neck. So this is one sentence that I'm going to point out and say it's a little bit convoluted, okay? You look down at your phone, every time you look down at your phone, you're putting a whopping 60 pounds of severe pain causing force on your neck. So the severe pain causing force is the phrase that's a little bit, you know, a little bit makes sense, a little bit too convoluted. So what I would do is like, am I on edit here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. In fact, research shows that every time you look down on your phone, you're putting, so what can we use instead of putting, like a more active verb? You're straining, you're placing. Putting is all right. Putting a whopping 60 severe.
You could even get rid of the ing and say, every time you look down at your phone, a whopping 60 pounds of severe pain, you know, hangs on your neck, or weighs down your neck, like weighs down or hangs or forces down your neck.
Yeah, okay.
Well, could you change it so it's like the 60 pounds is pulling down on your neck?
Yeah, or 60 pounds, you know, a whopping 60 pounds of, a whopping 60
heaving
pounds
down on your neck.
Pulls down on your neck.
Your head puts a whopping 60 pounds of spine warping pressure on your neck.
Yeah, that's good.
How's that sound? Yeah, I think that sounds all right.
Looks better, yeah.
Yeah, this one is just this phrase. And that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm editing. It's just like, oh, what sounds awkward? What sounds a little bit too convoluted? That's about 4 bowling balls worth of neck crushing pressure. Okay, good. When I'm editing this, I would be like, crushing, is warping a better word here?
Straining, maybe.
Straining, maybe, yeah. But it's not just looking at your phone in traffic that's causing severe neck pain.
You probably don't need the word worth. Like, I would just cut that.
Yep, absolutely. That's another thing we're looking for, to cut out like filler words that don't add anything to the power of the sentence. Whether you're walking in a shopping mall, sitting at your desk, or on your sofa, whenever you look down, you're likely straining your sternocleidomastoid neck muscle. You could probably take out neck here, which is causing. You could probably take this out as well. I would say like.
Let me pop back up to the lineup here. So like, but it's not just looking at your phone in traffic that's causing severe neck pain. So the only thing you're trying to say there is like, it not only happens in traffic, ... So you're saying like it happens other places. So you could say, but it's not just traffic.
That's causing instead of that causes.
That sentence is about half the length. Yeah, there you go.
And it also happens. It's also caused by. The reason this happens is because when you look down at your phone, you're straining your sternocleidomastoid muscle, which pulls on your neck vertebra.
You might even want to just call that your SCM.
Yeah, no, I like that. I really like that. SM muscle.
Sure, yeah. I would change "you've got" in this line, and like I would just call out there, if you're nagging neck pain, just won't quit. That's another opportunity to delete the word "that." The word "that" is your enemy. Anytime you see that word, just think of ways like, how could I get rid of it?
Yeah, I like that.
It's fine because when you're actually writing, the word "that" makes it really, it just makes it easier to write and keep going, because it's how we think. I mean, at least I do. I use that word a lot in my draft 1, but yeah, going through later rounds, like that is a word that you should mercilessly cut as much as you can.
Any questions about the detailed editing that we did right here? It's kind of very minutia, but this is kind of what we do on the last pass, basically. No? Okay. That's kind of all we really had today. We just wanted to take a look at like call attention to the verb tenses, and so you guys are kind of aware of it. Austin, do you have anything?
Austin mentioned some exceptions before, but we sort of cut off. Can you talk a bit more about?
Yeah, so with the passive voice, you know, if let's say like you, I don't know, somebody stabbed you. If you want to convey that in writing, you know, it would be Tom was stabbed by a crackhead. Like if you are on the receiving end of a verb, it's okay to use that that passive tense, because like you are not the one doing the stabbing. Like you can say, you know, he stabbed Tom, but you can also say Tom was stabbed. Like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be violent. You know, Tom was greeted by the consulates at the embassy. Like,
I would say like when you're, as long as you're aware of active and passive, you can look at a sentence and be like, is this more powerful said in an active voice or a passive voice? Most of the time it's an active voice, but
yeah, most of the time it is.
But there are going to be exceptions.
Let me go pull. I actually have something from the Copy Chief Live thing.
We have examples from Dan Ferrari's writing. Just little snippets that we picked out with, because his language is just so strong. Say the words marijuana investing right now, and anyone within earshot will chime in with an opinion. Some will say it's too risky, others will claim it requires extraordinary luck. Still more will caution it's too late, while others advise it's too early. Look how clean his verb tenses are. Will claim, will say. It's all future, past, or tense, or present, while others advise, present. That means today you have a golden opportunity to show them how smart you really are. I'll give you one word why, IPOs. Now it's his first like long sentence, okay? Long sentences are always the most dangerous because it's very easy to write a garbly mouth sentence. Because now that weed has slipped into the mainstream, smashed through the political and legal barriers, and transformed our cultural and business landscape with a coast-to-coast seismic shift we haven't seen since Steve Jobs unveiled the first iPhone. A lot of great verbs here. Smashed, slipped, transformed. And then he does a comparison analogy. Metaphors and analogies in your copy are really, really powerful. He compares the transformation to Steve Jobs unveiling the first iPhone. It's finally time for the hottest privately held marijuana companies to make their grand debut on the biggest stage in business, a stock market IPO. This is incredible news for everyone looking to build a fast and easy fortune without betting the farm. Just what you'll notice about this is, for the most part, it's very clean and very clear. Okay, that's what we're kind of looking for a copy. Digestibility. Very clean and clear, easy to understand. It doesn't it doesn't force the prospect's brain to work to read it. Okay? And his one long sentence is a very, very powerful sentence. Yeah? Another example right here. In many ways, I'm probably like you. Look at how short his sentences are. I didn't grow up in Hollywood. I've never been in a movie. I'm certainly not some kind of financial wizard. Actually, until recently, I never had much money at all. I'm the son of an auto mechanic and an elementary school teacher and grew up hand to mouth. Me, my brothers, my parents, my old grandma, all crammed into one story, 725 square foot house. Look at the specificity here. So I'm the last person you look at and say, that guy's got Hollywood written all over him. In fact, a few years back, I was in line at Starbucks when the weatherman from the local evening news walked in. He strolled up behind me, and I was so hopelessly tongue-tied. All I could think to say was, hey, Irma, beautiful weather outside. I want you guys to notice how the power of his language isn't in complicated sentences. Okay? The power of his language is in specificity. Okay, this is not some convoluted story, but it's compelling because it's so specific. You know, it's about how he grew up and a Starbucks thing. It's not some powerful emotional story, but it's showing us stuff about him, about the guru. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Dan mixes up the lengths of his sentences too really well. And it's something good to do. Something I see a lot is just like the same kind of monotonous cadence in sentences, and they're all just like the same structure, the same kind of length. So it's more sing-songy if you can mix up the length of your sentences. I just added a photo to the group chat and to the general channel. And so, Tom, I want to address your question there. So you'll look and you'll see I underlined he was taken and was carried across in that opening paragraph. So
Where is it?
It should be in the general channel or in the chat. I just uploaded it. This is just a little example of like a great article from a newspaper.
I don't see it.
Really?
The general channel?
Did it upload? Can you open the chat? You guys see it in the chat?
I haven't
I've
seen
got
it
it
in the
open.
chat.
Oh, okay. I see it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to, if you can add it to your screen, Nang, that might be useful.
Yeah, let me open it up. I cannot open it up.
Okay.
Do you wanna use your screen?
Let me do it then. Yeah.
Let me make you host.
No, I guess it didn't upload. Sorry, guys.
I'm trying to upload it to the general chat. It says processing file.
That's weird.
No, it's there.
Oh, there it is. Oh, thanks. All right. So,
Okay, do you want to make me host again? I can kind of show the.
yeah, I'm so bad at Zoom.
Right
I
click.
just manage participants.
Right click my name.
Host. There you go. Yeah. All right. There you go. All right. There you go. Okay. So this is about this is about a chimpanzee in a zoo. So, yeah, let us pay respect to fallen royalty. His early life unfolded like something co-authored by Dickens and Darwin. So unfolded is obviously an active verb there. As an infant, he was taken from his mother. He almost certainly saw her die trying to protect him, then sold in an orange crate for $25 and a thumbprint. So the infant was taken, like it was something that he didn't control. So he was on the receiving end of that verb. Like you could say the zookeeper or the poachers took him, but in a certain, in a respect, like if there's more emotion to him being taken, like the movie Taken, like. And so, yeah, so now down to the next paragraph. He was carried across an ocean, installed inside a cage, taught to depend on the imperfect love of strangers. So again, against his will, animal from the wild was carried across an ocean.
I guess passive voice is better to show victimizing, like
exactly.
like
yes,
a victimhood. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at here. So I think this is a really good example of it.
Then it switches to active voice right here. He charmed Jane Goodall through dirt, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Learned to blow. Yeah.
Because those are things that he's doing himself. That he's no longer a victim. Like it's transitioned the tone to like, here's who this chimp was, and these are the things that he did by his own power and volition. So yeah, so is that clear to you guys?
Yeah.
Cool.